Suposo que estem d'acord que aquest pla dona importància a l'educació superior pel que el desenvolupament sigui una realitat, no? Seria veritat, doncs, allò que el coneixement pot moure fronteres, pot provocar revolucions?
It's true that knowledge and education, for that matter, does move frontiers, but above all, I think education and knowledge, so there's a search for truth, for fairness, for freedom of expression. All this forms part of education and knowledge. And if, when you're trying to promote truth, freedom of expression, and fairness, that requires revolution, sometimes it takes place, as we see in different parts of the world. But I don't think there's a direct link between knowledge and education and revolution. I don't think there's a direct linkage. One is can become a consequence of the other, but I wouldn't say there's a direct linkage.
D'acord, diu que en principi sí, coneixement i sobretot educació pot moure fronteres. Però diu sobretot el que és important és la cerca de la veritat, no? La llibertat d'expressió, i no veu un enllaç directe entre coneixement i revolució, encara que potser que sí un pot aportar l'altre.
El que està passant aquests dies a Tunísia, on els joves, molts d'ells joves titulats, han sortit al carrer per reclamar democràcia i perspectives de futur. Què li sembla el que està passant al Magrib, al nord d'Àfrica, a Tunísia?
I think if you look at Tunisia and the history after Bourguiba, what came after Bourguiba and what has happened subsequently, the amount of the lack of freedom of expression, the political abuse that has taken place in Tunisia over so many years, and I think it came to a limit. Probably Tunisia is a typical example. I can't say whether all the North African countries will be the same, but clearly you can understand and sympathize with what's happened in Tunisia, because there's a limit to how much people can tolerate and bear when they see that the resources of their country are not benefiting their own population but benefiting a group of people high up in the political hierarchy. They revolt, and that's, I think, basically what's happened in Tunisia. Whether this will happen elsewhere, it's difficult to say. It is true that many countries are in a similar situation in North Africa, in other parts of the world, but our objective, our hope is that things take place more in a peaceful manner rather than a revolutionary manner, because it's through understanding and collaboration that one can promote peace rather than going through the situation that Tunisia has gone through.
Diu que sí, que si tenim en compte la història de Tunísia, es pot observar que s'ha arribat a un nivell molt alt, no?, de falta de llibertat d'expressió, i que arribant en aquest límit es pot entendre molt bé que la gent ja no aguantava i s'havien revolucionat. Diu que no se sap si això pot passar a altres països de la regió que potser que es troben en la mateixa situació, però en tot cas el que esperaria que si passés alguna cosa que sigui de via pacífica i no amb violència.
En general, estem fabricant un món amb poques esperances pels nostres joves?
He wants to know if in general are we creating a world for our young people without hope, without expectations?
I think it's difficult to generalize, but I think it is true that many young people are not finding a place in the society that they would wish to find, and which they feel they deserve, bearing in mind the situation in their country. And that's something we have to take care of, because after all the future is in the hands of the youth, and we must learn and make sure that they benefit. They come over eventually to take over the country and make the country prosper. If opportunities don't exist, then they feel frustrated.
Una altra vegada és difícil generalitzar, però diu que creu que actualment hi ha molts joves que no troben el seu lloc a la societat, el lloc que mereixen, i això sí que s'ha de cuidar molt, perquè com que tots sabem el món està a les mans dels joves, i si estan frustrats això pot causar problemes.
Una mica el que dèiem abans, hi ha desigualtats entre el nord i el sud, però també hi ha desigualtats al sud del sud.
Well, we've already been talking that there are big differences between the north and the south, but there are also differences in the south.
Oh yes, certainly. You cannot, even Africa, I don't think you can say that all the countries in Africa are the same, not at all. Many of them have made tremendous progress in development. Others are behind, but we tend to look at figures generally as a region. So when you compare the region, you see the differences. But certainly, and the same happens to the north as well. Not all the north countries are the same. There's big differences among many countries in the north, just as there are many differences in countries in the south.
Sí, fins i tot a Àfrica hi ha moltes diferències. No tots els països són iguals. En alguns hi ha hagut un progrés, hi ha hagut desenvolupament, en altres no. Si es miren les regions també hi ha diferències, però diu com abans, és el mateix al nord, també podem observar moltes diferències.
Vostè actualment és vicerector del Consell de Govern de la Universitat de les Nacions Unides a Tòquio, no?
Forma part del Consell de Govern, sí.
A Tòquio. I com és Tòquio? Com s'hi viu?
Però no viu a Tòquio.
No viu a Tòquio?
No. He asked how is life in Tokyo.
On està ubicat aquest Consell de Nacions Unides?
Only serve on the Council of the United Nations University. I don't live in Tokyo.
Només ha d'anar 2 o 3 vegades a l'any per participar a les reunions del Consell, però no viu a Tòquio.
I quin és el paper d'aquest Consell? A què es dedica?
What's the role of
The Governing Council of the United Nations University is basically to draw out the programs of the university, to make sure that things are going well, to look at the UNU has got many institutes all over the world, and as you know, there's a new institute going to be created very soon in Barcelona, the Institute for the International Institute for the Alliance of Civilizations. So that as well is the responsibility of the Council. It tries to make sure that things are going well, things are progressing well, and basically to review the situation, to plan, to look at finances of the UNU, to make sure that funds are available, that everything is going well. Like any university, basically it's a governing council of the United Nations University.
S'ocupen de, com qualsevol consell de govern d'una universitat, d'assegurar que tot vagi bé. Aquesta universitat té institucions a tot el món i ara està a punt de crear-se un institut també a Barcelona en referència a l'Aliança de les Civilitzacions. Doncs és intentant de vigilar que tot vagi bé, planificar, mirar que hi hagi fons, finançament...
Que funcioni. Aprofitem que tots just hem començat l'any, que li demana el 2011.
Just asking, as the year just started, what would you ask to happen in 2011?
For African universities?
Per qui? Per les universitats africanes o...
Un desig.
Just a goal, what do you want to say?
Global.
Global. I'd like more peace. I think there's too much of unfairness, there's too much of lack of peace in this world, too much of people dying unnecessarily, suffering unnecessarily. So my hope is let's have more peace in this world and let's all live together in a peaceful world.
Diu que espera sobretot més pau, perquè el món és molt injust avui, hi ha molta gent que es mor sense necessitat, doncs sí, un món més pacífic.
Doncs tant de bo es compleixin els seus desitjos. Goolam Mohamedbhai, moltíssimes gràcies per haver vingut i demà marxeu ja de Barcelona, no?
Thank you for coming, and tomorrow you're already leaving Barcelona?
Yes, thank you very much for inviting me to this radio. It's been a pleasure. Yes, I'm leaving Barcelona tomorrow, but I'll come back. This is my 4th visit, and I'm sure I'll come back again.
Thank you. Nadja, moltíssimes gràcies, també.
Claro.